Okay, first off, I want to go ahead and give a huge shout out to everyone who watched my video since I released it, and a big thank you to those who liked, commented, and subscribed. This video got a lot more attention than I really thought it would, and that only motivates me to continue making more content. With that being said, let's jump right into episode 2. Actually, before we go ahead and get into this video, I wanted to go ahead and mention that I got a new microphone set up, so I'd like to get your all's feedback on this new setup, see how it sounds to you all, and see how this sounds going forward. Today we're going to go over a couple of comments I received since I uploaded the video, as well as a few more polls for you all to engage in. After that, we'll catch up with where I am currently at with the account, so that episode 3 can be a fresh new content for you all to enjoy. The comments we will be looking at are from Nick Berry and Tenroy6. Nick says, I think you should allow yourself to do farming at the Hosidius House farm as long as you get the seeds in Kebos. 45 farming would be a long time to lamp up to. This looks interesting and it'll be nice to do raids in the long run. Tenroy says, couple things. If the poll passes on farming, which I feel it should, I feel anything you plant should have to be in Zaya, and you should have to drop it or use it in compost, as I feel it's not really immersive to be so out there getting things to help you while you're not in the lowlands. Getting the favor doesn't count when getting the farming XP, go ahead and plow baby, but only while doing the favor. Referring to Tenroy's comment, I think there was some confusion with my farming poll. I had mentioned that I was lamping all the way up to 45 farming. Now, after reviewing it, and after hearing the response to this, I think it would be a good idea to just do farming in general in the Hosidius house. 45 farming would take too long to lamp before I could do anything viable with it, so I'll be repolling this. Essentially, I would get the favor as well as 45 farming from the Hosidius house in order to use the farming guild. Any seeds that I get have to be from the Kebos, and that's the only way I can train farming. Check the links in the description for the polls, and let me know what you think in the comments. Tenroy also asked over on Twitter, Discord for your channel when? I mentioned that I had planned to make one when I had more of an audience, but with the way episode 1 is turning out, I think it might be a good idea to move ahead and get it started up. I don't have plans to do that just yet, however if I do it, the link will be in the description as well, and if I don't do it by the time this video comes up, I'll mention it in a later video. Moving on, I want to revisit the construction poll I had mentioned earlier. 42 construction is a real high requirement and will require a lot of my time away from the Kebos. Should I instead just go get 15 agility from the Gnome agility course? This wouldn't take too long and would allow me to come back to the Kebos and stay there without having to go back out for this one skill. Another reason is that construction would be entirely useless outside of this one use case, so the content would only be temporary. This poll will also be in the description, so please check it out and let me know what you think about it. Outside of that, I want to quickly recap over the new set of exceptions, as well as the old exceptions that I mentioned last video, just so everyone gets caught up here. Each exception and poll seem to have a positive response, so as it stands, I will be implementing all of these onto my account. The first 6 I outlined in the episode 1 are as follows. Druidic Ritual in a Pestle and Mortar, selling only to the Lovacan's General Store, Slayer through Konar, but with the poll passed, I can now only get drops from Konar if it's outside of the Kebos. If it's in the Kebos, all drops are fair game. I also got mining and smithing up to 15, as well as picked up fishing rod and bait, as well as snares. Now, for the new proposed suggestions which I am implementing now, are Barbarian Fishing. I can go learn Barbarian Fishing, but I must use the equipable rod unlocked from Aerial Fishing. And Crafting. I can go grab a glass blowing pipe in order to make glass when I unlock Earth Implings. Since I am repolling construction and the Farming Guild requirements, I am not implementing them just yet, even though they did pass. This is so I can make sure I get a for sure vote on how y'all want me to go about this grind. And finally, on to the content you all want. Since I arrived in the Kebos, I spent a lot of time at these chickens and cows getting a few prayer and cooking levels while remaining here. I decided to go all the way to 30 base melee stats. The reason I did this was so I could survive the lizardmen and eventually get to my first goal of the account, rock crabs. Rock crabs drop a couple of useful early game items, most notably the iron pickaxe. They also drop seaweed and fishing bait, which will be useful for the crafting and fishing grind respectively. And just like Settled, I discovered that you can use the Chambers of Zarek as a budget Clan Wars portal or ornate pool, which was beneficial during the lower level grinds at rock crabs with my limited amount of food. I stayed here for a while until hitting base 50 melee stats, which I then decided to work on some other skilling grinds. And this is where I'm at now. I'm getting my hunter up to 35, and then I'll go work on fishing so that I can start doing aerial fishing. I also want to get all of my exceptions out of the way as soon as possible, as to not spend most of my mid to late game time away from Kebos, but I'm waiting to hear back from y'all regarding these last 2 polls before doing anything. Finally, here's a look at my stats at the time of recording this video. I have lots of work to do on this account, but overall, I'm excited for the content ahead. And I know it's not a lot of content that I have done, but hopefully now y'all can join in on the account for the rest of the long grind. Once again, thanks to everyone who watches my videos, anyone who interacts with me, and anyone who cares about this account in series.